everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a video of me discussing a mishmash variety of things ranging from skincare to music to YouTubers. We're going to be talking about a fancy handbag that I've been loving recently. Typically these are classified as hit and misses in a month or monthly favorites, whereas we've had quite a few months in between episodes, as it were. So just kind of rounded off the last couple of months, capped it off there, and we're taking that to talk about in this video. And then hopefully moving forward, like I seem to say in every video, I'll be able to have a bit more consistent content for y'all after this. Believe it or not, I do have a couple different variety of videos and content that I would like to actually make for y'all. I have actually made the executive decision to get rid of I had way too much vlog footage that I was like, surely I can get something out of it when it's just a bunch of disjointed clips. I'm gonna do a couple episodes where I take some content from there that I think is funny, some with friends and cats and stuff like that, put it together and make just kind of mishmash vlogs. But for the most part, I just cut ties with that and said we're gonna start from square one, actually try to make some sort of schedule, make some sort of organizational sense. But with that being said, enough with the organizing. We're here filming this video right now, and that's what we're gonna do. And to start that off, we are going to discuss music. Music is one of those things that I have on a constant, whether it's in the car, while I'm just around the house. I definitely have it when I'm at work, when I'm doing the restocking the breakfast or doing all my whatever's back here. I typically consistently have some form of music playing depending on my mood. So to discuss and go through a whole breadth of my discography viewing in the past, even like say from week to week, would be a lot, but I've decided to pick out a few highlights to share with y'all. The first of which being from a group that I love called the Cruxshadows, which I'm not entirely sure their region or country or anything like that. They are like a dark wave, goth, synth, underground, that sort of thing, that sort of group. Think very, hands in the air, goth club, that sort of thing. They're a group that I've really enjoyed a lot of their music from, several of their albums for probably say at least 15 years going on now. They have a wide range of a discography considering like singles, not so much when it comes to standout albums, although the album released before this single is what I consider to be one of the best. I will leave that down below, as well as the single that I would like to highlight today, which is something that was newer released in the past couple of months. And that is The Kingdom of the Moon, which is just, I love it when you get a song released by a group that when you start hearing it, you're like, yes, that is what I love about the group. That right there is an example of why I love them so much and what has me continuously coming back to their music. I've had that moment with Within Temptation, with Evanescence, AFI, just a variety of different groups where you listen to it and you feel the reason resonating within your brain as to why that group tickled your fancy to begin with. And this single really just encapsulates, again, everything that I really like about them. I think the vocals are really good. The composition is really good. It's got a nice level of that deeper, heavier, more bass related dark wave, synth goth, that going on. But the Cruxshadows also have a really, really good grasp on beautiful lyricism that I think adds a touch of depth and uniqueness to a lot of their music, because I love the compositions, I love everything like that, but since honestly getting into them for however many years, just their lyrics are just so wonderfully done and so dramatic, and they have just an amazing command of just lyricism and language that just I feel works so well with that darker subway. Then we get the violin and just a little bit more, adds a bit of fun to it. Just a really good command of the language and the written word that coincides and pairs really beautifully with just the type of composition they have, making them a pretty unique group, at least in my musical repertoire. My brother Luke and I always joke because he's the one that actually has a very eclectic music taste. I like to think I have an eclectic music taste, where he's the one who's like, here's this totally random group I pulled out of this one little thing here and this subgenre here and only what he does that. He brings music into me and stuff like that. But that's one of the songs and one of the groups that I have really been getting into recently. Highly recommend this single if you like this. I think you'll like a lot of their stuff that I will leave linked down below. Then I have to include here, sort of in the same vein as all of each other, this is more of a band and 3 of their albums that I listen to and enjoy and appreciate. Now, I will say this is, again, a group that I have been into since I was like 14. I actually found my first exposure to them was I found one of their albums at Walmart, back when Walmart actually sold CDs and actually sold like music that you could, like I remember I got a Within Temptation CD from Walmart at some point. Walmart was popping there for a minute and they're like, oh no, we can't do it anymore. But I typically tend to listen to this group a lot when it comes to like cooler, spooky, all that sort of season. It's kind of, like I said, mandatory listening to for me. That being the group I Am Ghost, but specifically their albums Lover's Requiem, which is the first one that I got into. I'm not entirely sure what the first one is called, the first album, and then their third album, Bone Garden. All 3 of those, if you're into that kind of alternative rock, kind of metal, but not really metal because it's more screamo than metal. I mean, this was like 2004. For those of you who were there, you understand. This is kind of like if you were a fan of like Avenged Sevenfold, Him. I mean, Aiden's a really good one. The Used, kind of like that. Let me see here. Vampires Everywhere. Maybe a little bit, definitely before the time of Motionless in White, but kind of think sort of that same sound. I mean, I will have pictures and images. Basically, this was fueling my emo gothic era of this, 14, 15, 16-year-old me. I mean, to this day, I still listen to and love these albums unironically. Are they like the peak of end-all be-all music? No. Are they a group that I significantly really love and continuously pull out during the year, but especially during this time of the year? Absolutely, yes. Some of my hands-down must-have spooky Halloween listening materials, but on that list of must-have spooky listening is definitely I Am Ghost. If you like this genre of music, if you like kind of like that screamo, emo era, I really think they're an underrated group. I'm pretty sure they only have the 3 albums and they might have some like, I don't know, limited release singles here, but I'm pretty sure the 3 are just those core ones there. I wish they had done more. I wish they did more. I understand, not all groups last forever. And as much as I would like them to continue to make music, I do understand the reasoning behind them stepping back and not continuing to make it. So for now, I will just listen to these albums on here. Lover's Requiem fueled my gothic fantasies, so much of my writing, so much of my character design and my aesthetic, during those eras. I really got a lot out of these albums. And if you want to think of something kind of funny, silly, and cringe, imagine my poor mother in the car with 14-year-old me listen to some of those songs down there with that plugged into the CD. My mom in the car, trapped in the car with teenage me, thinking that I had the vocal range of Sharon Denadel, Tara Turunen, and Amy Lee. Gracing my mother with a personal concert every time we got into the car because, as I stated, music has been a significant part of my life for an extended period of time, and it has been continuously playing for an extended period of my life, especially then. I always love to hear what y'all have to say about the music that I talk about. Sometimes I feel like this is just me talking to myself, but I do find it therapeutic to talk to someone else about my interests. What can I say? I just love hearing myself talk about myself and talk about things that I find interesting. So if we're going to talk about things that I find interesting, we might as well talk about purses. And I was gonna talk about this handbag, but why talk about this one when I can talk about this one instead? Handbag content is gonna be something that hopefully you're actually going to be developing a theme on my channel. I've got a couple simple videos that I'm planning on filming before I get into some of those more ambitious deep dive videos. And so today I thought we'd talk about one of my actual favorite realistic, like actual use handbag. For specs and information, I will leave whatever links I can and information down below. This is the Tory Burch Lee Radziwill double bag small in pebbled leather and suede. Basically, insert bougie overpriced designer luxury good handbag named after a rich person, a la like Hermes, Birkin, and Kelly and such. But this bag didn't cost $10,000. It probably costs more than most think that a handbag should go for, but it is one that gives me an excessive amount of joy, with no small being to the color. Not only that, pebbled leather is one of my favorite leathers because it is extremely hardy, one of the more durable leathers when you're thinking about like materials that you want for a handbag that's going to be like an everyday, because I am mean, I am abusive, I am carrying monsters and notebooks and my life in this thing, lugging it to my overnight work shift job. I'll hold it just by the handle on my elbow and be like, oh, I'm rich, I'm part of the 1%. I don't have to care if it's practical. But then with that being said, this actually is a pretty practical handbag, especially when you're thinking of investing in a designer handbag. The craftsmanship in this is absolutely insane. The quality of the leather, the quality of the glazing here, the texture and the different materials. It's got the soft kid, it's not lambskin, kid I believe is calf, baby animal. But you've got the smooth bit there, and then we've got the different colors of suede here, and then again the pebbled leather. Another really nice thing that I love the obvious stitching here, and the fact that this color here is, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell, is it's this deep, dark, gorgeous green. At first I was like, oh, it's black, and I can dig the green and black. But then upon closer look and examination, it's just this really dark, beautiful green. It comes with the strap here. The only thing I would say is I wish this strap was like a little bit hardier. It's kind of thin, kind of pitiful looking, and like I said, I'm rough with my handbags. I am not out here trying to be no, there's a reason I don't own any Chanel, because Chanel is like a glass horse. You pay a lot of money for it, but it tends to get damaged real quickly. I need what I like to call a workhorse bag. It's got the nice feet on the bottom. I cannot express the quality of the structure of the materials. It's got the cute imitating the Hermes, oh, impractical, it's hanging open. You can snap these things here like this. It's got a nice 2 big ginormous compartments in there. It's got this little compartment in here. I am going to be doing a deeper, more in-depth what's in my bag review of this bag, but I did just want to highlight it in this video. It has been the bag that I have not been able to put down. It's a bit heavier than I think what most people would want for an everyday bag, but for someone who typically, I carry a big heavy bag everywhere with all kinds of shit in it. As I said, in a future video, I will do a more in-depth look, but if you are a handbag enthusiast and you don't mind paying a little bit extra money for, you know, a hobby here, then I would definitely recommend checking out this bag. I actually have 2 of them, which I will show in that bag review, but for now, just know that I'm absolutely in love with all the details, the construction, and the quality of the Tory Burch Lee Radziwill double bag in small, like I said, which is a lie. This is not a small bag. It holds a lot. I would love to own one of the small ones, but they're literally like this big, and they cost lots of money. And I have a like how much bag you get for how much money, and there's just just that's a lot of money for not a lot of bag. I've only got a few face care items going on here. I'm not sure if I was trying this before. It's been, like I said, so long since I've filmed this kind of video. But I think I was starting it and now I'm almost out of it. This is the Boscia Resurfacing Treatment Toner with apple cider vinegar. I actually found this at my local Marshall's, and this is something that I would repurchase. Like, I would go to Sephora and purchase this, or Ulta and purchase this. I would like to test it against some of my other favorites, like the e.l.f. clarifying one, and then I'm using the glycolic toner one, resurfacing toner from Good Molecules, which is also one of my favorites. This is one that definitely stood out as one that I would want to repurchase. Works really good for my skin. I've got normal to dry. I do think that this might be just a little zippier, a little zestier on the skin than the e.l.f. Clarify one. Again, it would be interesting to compare this one to that one because I think there are a fair amount of similarities. It's very refreshing. It's very cleansing. I'm not sure this is something I would recommend for anyone with like straight dry skin, but for where I tend to have dry patches versus where the rest of my skin is normal, I have really enjoyed this, and I may think about picking some up with maybe some Christmas money because, like I said, I've got the Good Molecules one and I've got an AFI one on backup. e.l.f. AFI is a group that I really like. But I think this is one that I would like to have in my rotation, in my supply to have and to use and to know as a favorite that works for my skin really well. Then something that I picked up just because I kind of needed to. I can't remember where I was, but I needed a serum, and I think I was at Walmart. So I picked up this Neutrogena hydroboost, which I'm pretty sure Neutrogena, I kick myself for getting it because I'm pretty sure they're not cruelty-free, which is something that I like to support when it comes to my cosmetics. I have had, before I went cruelty-free, I had a fair amount of good success with a lot of their products. There was like a water hydrating balm moisturizer that really worked for me, but I had to stop using it because of animal cruelty, and then I got this. And while this is good, this is nice, this isn't something that when I use it, even for the price point, which I honestly think this was like $20, there are a wide variety of serums and moisturizers and essences in a wide variety of price points. You can get at Walmart, you can get at Ulta especially. I don't think this one is anything that, I mean, I wouldn't buy it again anyway because of that. I don't really think that it's one that I would repurchase again for the sake of my routine either. It's okay. It leaves my face feeling fairly nice. I'm gonna use it up until I've used it up because I bought it and I have it, and it, you know, my face doesn't fall off and my face looks okay considering the lighting and how inconsistent my face washing has been. On the top of my little me notebook, it's self-care is washing our face and taking all of our medications every day. So this one here is definitely a hit, and this one here is it works, it's nice. I'm sure it works well for a lot of other people. There's a reason this brand gets such high ratings, and a lot of their products are actually good. Just for me and my house and everything that my skin likes, I'm using it, but it's not something that I would repurchase and continue to have in my rotation. Then we might as well talk about a few YouTubers that I have been absolutely listening to on repeat. Kind of the same thing with the music. When I get something that tickles my fancy, I then have a habit of like mainlining that content continuously until I have completely consumed all of that creator's content. One of which being Wendigoon, who does a wide variety. He could honestly do a whole video, like a 3-hour video talking about underwater basket weaving, and I would be there for every minute of it because of just how well done his videos are, how likable of a narrator he is, and the human, the emotion, the empathy, and the respect that he talks about a lot of subjects. He talks about a lot of really deep, dark subjects like, we've addressed like 411 missings. He does a lot of true crime, a lot of historical. There is one video he does that I recommend from a historical, like if you like history and like deep dives into dark aspects of history, would highly recommend this video, while at the same time not recommending it because the content in it is, part of the reason why I like him is because he takes things that are such heavy, deep topics and he does address them with so much reverence and an ability to deliver the information with enough brevity is not the right word to keep you from being like, I'm listening to this and I want to unalive myself so hard right now. He keeps the reality of it while also leveling it in a way that makes it easier to digest to his viewers. And in that easy to digest, I also absolutely have been loving the Casual Criminalist. I have just been absolutely consuming and devouring every single video he's done. I'm surprised that his channel, or that channel, the narrator does a variety of other projects and things like that, but I'm very surprised that that channel in and of itself hasn't received more success than it has. And by success, I'm like, why doesn't this person have 1 million subscribers, millions of views on their videos? Just really great, refined, true crime content that, again, while it addresses the nitty-gritty, like it talks about cases, we've gone through John Wayne Gacy, we've done Dahmer, we've done Bundy. I have not listened to the whole Bundy one, but addressing a lot of really messed up, fucked up shit. And there are moments when he's going through and reading things. He's got the script, he's reading it for the first time. And again, there's a lot of detail, a lot of attention to giving, again, all that detail and all the research in the script that's being presented via the YouTube video, while also when he's going through, there'll be moments where he steps back and says, I don't want to say that. You don't need to hear that. I just read it. That doesn't need to be a thing. They say on that channel that it's more CSI and less Saw, which, while you do want to preserve the brutality of, like, you know, recalling that this is a level of gnarliness that we need to have an example to be reminded of, that this is bad, but versus like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and show all these awful gory details for the, you know, for the reason of just stating the gory details. So I think that it's really, really great as a content creator during those moments while he's just going through the script to be able to have that moral and ethical to step back and say, you know, we've got enough detail for this. You don't need, you can draw your conclusions. They include a lot while still withdrawing enough to keep it from being overly gratuitous, which, as someone who consumes a lot of true crime material, that's something that's very refreshing and something that I look for when it comes to that kind of content. I would say that Dreading also has that level. I really enjoy that chapter. If I recall, I will leave all of those channels down below, but especially talking about Wendigoon and the Casual Criminalist. Those are two that I've wanted to talk about for a fair amount of time, so I'm glad that I'm actually able to get off my duff and talk about them in a video on my channel. But I am actually going to leave it there at that. I am not entirely upset with how this haul turned out here. I had plans on filming some here, filming some at home, but I was like, you know what? I am here, I am now, I am primed, I'm ready. Might as well get the content while I'm willing to create it. Working with my own mental whims and ups and downs has been a very interesting journey that hopefully at some point I'll be able to portray a little bit of that to y'all in some mental health centered content. Would love to hear what y'all have to say about the stuff I talked about, whether it connects with you, whether it doesn't. Let me know something down below, a song, a bag, a YouTube channel, something that has been bringing you joy and making you happy in this month, the last 2 or 3 months, or in the past week. I love to hear from y'all, and I hope to see y'all in the next vlog or the next video. Bye!